Oshinoko Volume Review. Goro Amemiya is a gynecologist working in a small town in the Japanese countryside, but he has a deep passion for idols. One in particular by the name of Ai Hoshino from the group B Komachi. His love for them is no secret, as he often shows videos of them to patients, but he has never once expected to meet Ai, due to living so far away from the city. One fateful day, a 16-year-old girl, 20 weeks pregnant, walks into his clinic and it's none other than Ai herself. She does not name the father, and her manager plans to keep her pregnancy a secret so she can continue her idol career after giving birth. Goro agrees to keep her secret, and the pair grow closer over the course of her pregnancy. On the day she's due to give birth, however, tragedy strikes, and the pair become closer than either of them dream possible. And a new side of Ai's idol image being the show itself. According to the translation notes at the back, provided by Sarah Neofield, the title of this manga hasn't been officially translated into English as Oshi no Ko, can mean multiple things, depending on the context. For example, it could mean the girl who is my favorite performer or the children of my favorite performer. The multiple layer meaning of the title reflects the series real well. You start reading the book thinking it's about to follow a doctor with an unhealthy obsession with an idol, but then the first twist happens. It's a switch pops to Ai's kids, and then the last quarter of the book, another twist happens and the story itself changes gears again, with the last chapter the next reading, and so the prologue ends. Yes, the whole first book is just a prologue for the story. A weird, drama-filled, exciting, and potentially fantastic story of the darker side of idols, while also highlights its alluring nature. I'm going to try my best to talk about the story, while avoiding the true nature of both twists that happens in this book. But if you're already interested in this series, I recommend you stop reading now and go into the manga blind. The first point is split into three different plotlines. The first being the opening act with Goro, outlining his roles as Ai's obstetrician gynecologist is actually small in the grand scheme of things. He has a huge impact on the story and serves as the main protagonist. Although his role and mindset change as the story progresses. His prologue is an interesting read. As mentioned, he starts off as an intense idol fan who gets the opportunity of a lifetime to help and deliver the baby of his favorite idol, and the audience can help but feel uncomfortable for Ai, as her most intimate moment is being viewed by someone who's technically engaging in voyeuristic behavior. But at the end of the book, he's in a new position to not only pursue a job he never thought possible previously, but also to see Ai as a human being, rather than just an idol, and fully be the most supernatural and twisted means possible. Despite the second act, the longest part of this book, being more a comedy romp than the first and last acts, there's still a lot to untangle from his growing new position, as well as we learns about the idol industry in his new role. The comedy won't always hit in thin for me, but it was interesting watching him develop regardless. Speaking of idols, let's talk about Ai. During attempts to be both an idol and a mother, you can see how the layers of the idol and entertainment industry are slowly peeled away until its dark underbelly is revealed. For the mean comments on Twitter that Ai subjects herself to the lines she just go to try, she shake her restricted idol group mage. How the role of mom is at conflict with it at times. But the story isn't just interested in saying how dark and destructive the industry can be, but also how others use said knowledge to get what they want out of it. Ai, for example, has every reason to hate the role she must play. The manager's complete control of her life, and she's constantly being pushed into different boxes, idol, singer, actress, etc., to keep making money for her manager. But Ai never shows disgust or depression at the situation. She wants to be there. She's fully aware of the industry's dark side, and she keeps smiling strong and all. As she says, lies are an outstanding kind of love. It's a warm about, but also fascinating look into her psyche, as she sees her role as well as the industry itself. She's someone who loves what she does. Despite the look cost that it requires from her, the series so far seems to want to tackle the same themes as Satoshi Kon's Perfect Blue, but instead of being a horror, it's played as a comedy drama with different viewpoints, informing and expanding on Goro's and Ai's as the series progresses. The last part of the book is slightly different from the rest. At the beginning of each chapter, we're giving one-page interviewing various members in the industry, from directors to actresses, all seemingly taking in the far future. At the start, it's a bit jarring, but later it's like finding pieces of puzzle that's still being performed in front of you. So once you hear the final chapter, you realize that these mini glimpses into the future have an entirely new context and form part of the main story that this book's prologue. It's really well done. It'll be interesting to see if the manga continues to do this in future books. Now that we're out of the prologue part of the story. Aka Akasaka is a writer for this series, with illustration by Menju Yokoyari, who does a great job. For the eye-catching cover of ice poses in human eyes, to the final pages which have much darker overtones. Everything is well drawn, and all the character designs are very distinct. As mentioned, Sarah Neofeld is a translator, and everything reads very well, switching from comedy to disturbing as swiftly as the art does. But I want to give a shout out to the translator's notes. There's 3 pages worth that go into a lot of details, not just about the certain prices, but also into facts about Japan itself, which I found really interesting. Just by reading the first volume, I can tell that Oshi no Ko is going to be a very popular and talk about series when the anime adaptation comes out in April. Under the subject matter and the protagonists themselves are going to connect with everyone. The first twist probably being the jump off point from some. If you stay with this book, it has a lot on cover. The positive reception is received in Japan is, so far, well deserved, don't check it out. 9 out of 10.